So in the case of these traditional methods, we have first indigenous methods where we are using immovable structures. Immovable means structures which cannot be moved from one place to another. Here you can see that this type of structures which are used by in our houses by people in villages are known by the name this indigenous immovable hives. So here you will get an idea how people will be using this honey bee rearing as a method of income generation, and this kind of methods are can be observed in many parts of our country. Then we have also movable structures. Movable structures means which can be taken from one place to another place. Most of the time we will be using wooden boxes, sometimes hollow bags, sometimes earthen pots. So these are the structures which are primarily used for in the case of movable hives. So the advantage of movable hives is that they can be taken from one place to another place. So that is the advantage of movable structures. And so that when there is a flower production or flower availability in one particular area, we can take the hive from that place to and keep it in another place. So that is the advantage of movable structures. But in the use of this kind of permanent structures or immovable hives, we do not have that option of changing the hive from one place to another place. So that is one advantage of movable structures. It can be moved according to the availability of honey, flowers, or other environmental parameters. So here the quality of honey is inferior due to the presence of dust, tissues of damaged larvae. Here what we are observing is that this is movable and as well as our traditional methods. The method is not so very highly efficient, and because of that the quality of the honey which is produced by this method may be always of poor quality. Then we have a structure of a beehive. This is how a normal beehive will be appearing. Here you can see that there will be a lower stand, and above that there is another wooden board called floor. Then this is the two structures or main area where honeybees will be occupying. That box is known by the name brood box. Then above the brood box we are keeping a net to prevent the entry or exit of the queen, that is known by the name queen excluder. And above that there is another box which we call as a honey super, then crown board and roof. So this is an overview of how a modern hive will be appearing. So, and this is known as long straw frame, and is most suitable for the commercial production of honey. Here basically it is a two-tier structure. Then hive is made up, and it is all made up of wooden box. And the bottom box is known by the name brood box. So this is the main box. This brood box or the bottom board on which is placed a wooden box called brood chamber. So the lower two chambers are low box plates are forming the part of the stand and floor, above which we are seeing the brood box, and brood box is keeping the honeybee most of the time. Then a small opening at the bottom of the brood chamber permits for the passage of bee. Here you can see that there will be some openings here, and through that opening honeybee can move from that brood box to other area. Inside the brood chamber several frames hang vertically. Here you can see that this is the vertical frame, and this vertical frame can be pulled up, and it is the honeybees will be occupying this vertical frame. Then distance between two frames and the bee space is narrow and serve as a passage for workers, but small for building a comb. See here you can see that there will be one vertical plate like this, then another vertical plate like this. In between there will be a small space. That space is actually enough for a movement of honeybee, but not enough for building a building a comb there. So that if you are keeping a wider space, honeybees will be building a wax comb there. So to avoid that, we keep the space minimum. so that only a honeybee can move but not able to build any comb there. So above the brood chamber is placed another similar chamber but of lesser height. So it is meant for storage of honey only and known as honey chamber. This is known as the honey chamber or honey super. The queen is never allowed to enter this chamber. In some cases, two honeys. See here, you can see that this is the brood box, the main box, and these are the frames in which the honeybees will be living. And above that, there is another wooden box known by the name honey super. And the primary purpose of the honey super is actually a storage of honey. Is mainly used for the storage of honey. But we are doing one important precaution here, that we will not allow the queen to enter into this honey chamber. For preventing the entry of the queen from brood box into the honey chamber, we will be keeping a net-like structure here. That net-like structure will be preventing the entry of honeybees into the honey super. So if primarily if you take any beehive, there are two important boxes. One is brood box. Brood box will be keeping the honey. Then honey super or honey chamber, which is primarily used for storing of the honey. Between honey super and the brood box, we are seeing a queen excluder. It is a net-like structure to prevent the entry of queen from brood box into the honey chamber. Then above the honey chamber, an inner covering is placed over which lies the roof. So this is how. So this is the top portion which we call the roof, and above honey chamber again there is another board which we call as a crown board. So to look at a beehive simply, there are two important boxes. One is brood box, then honey super. Brood box is mainly used for keeping the honeybees. Honey super or honey chamber is used for storage of honey. Between honey super and brood box, we are keeping a net that is known as a queen excluder. Then what are the important structures in the brood box? Mainly frames. And frames are kept in such a distance that only honeybees can move and not able to build any wag comb there. Then at the lower portion, we are keeping a stand so that it will be kept little above the ground. For that there will be a stand and a floor will be there. Then on the upper side also there are a roof will be there to prevent the entry of rainwater into that. Below that there will be a crown board also. So these are the primary structures which we are finding in the structure of a honeybee hive. So there are two different types of honeybee hives. One is movable structures and other one is immovable structures. Now we will see a little bit of our video. So